Thursday afternoon chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could put your hands together, unless you're driving, for Chris Tomlin. How are we? I got a sound effect.
You do?
You don't need to clap for yourself.
I was trying to help it out.
Tomorrow's a big day. New album from Chris Tomlin out
Yes.
tomorrow called Holy Roar.
Yes.
What are you even counting at this point? What are we on? Is there a point you stop counting?
Actually, yeah, it is like 12 or 13. I'm not sure. Depends on what you count albums as anymore. You know,
true.
But I think it's 12. Yeah, the 12th record.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm thrilled about it.
And new book and podcast.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah, so we got the Holy Roar podcast that I've just starting just for I've never done this before, but kind of taking a deep dive into things of that record as far as songs, things that people would maybe not know about some of the songs, how they came to be, and like the heart behind some of them, but also just the bigger idea of Holy Roar, of just that this idea of worship of the people of God, worshiping God. So I'm doing all these interesting interviews with people and just finding out different things and just maybe hopefully inspiring people, making people laugh a little bit, but inspiring people along the way in worship. So that's the podcast. And then last year I wrote a book called Holy Roar, 7 words that'll change the way you worship. And so we've got these. It's got the Holy Roar book, the podcast, and the record all out now. And here it comes.
When do you become a vlogger or a YouTube? Is that next year?
Right.
One new thing at a time.
Exactly, an Instagram model.
Yeah. Trust me, I've done it. You
me.
don't want to go down there. Anyway, yes. Let's go into the first sampling that you've given us from Holy Roar. Nobody Loves Me Like You. What is DNA, just heart behind this one?
Yeah, there's the second verse of this song has the lyrics, a story. I could have had a really different story, but you came down from heaven to restore me, forever save my life. And I think everybody, there's not a person listening that doesn't relate to that where would any of us be without the grace of God, the love of God? And that's the idea of the song. The chorus is very simple, kind of childlike in a way. Nobody loves me like you. And I think just the worship of realizing that you cannot run the love of God. And no matter, and I love saying this, but no matter where you may find yourself today, that God will meet you right where you are, because He loves you just where you are. He loves you just as you are. And that's the heart behind this song. But every time I sing that verse, I could have had a really different story. I mean, gosh, just think, just in your own life, in my life, just think, where would I be if I was just left to my own devices, left to my own decisions, left to my own will? Thank God for His grace, and that's what this song celebrates.
I don't want to make you uncomfortable with this question, but you came from a little town, 2,600 people, Grand Saline, salt mining community. Everybody's going to end up working in the salt mine, kind of a deal.
Yes.
And now you've had some of the biggest songs the church will ever sing in history. And obviously, I know that's ministry, but in a job sense, God has blessed you to have these huge songs. But what do you miss from back then?
Well, I think I'm proud of the roots where I come from. I think that's what's kept the feet on the ground. It's because where I come from, the simplicity of it. I mean, my whole life was mowing yards. I don't know if you ever mowed yards, but I had that was my whole job. So if you, I don't really miss mowing yards. You ask me what I'm missing, but I do miss. I am grateful when I think about before, when I play at my church, when I was growing up and I played at church because I was one of the only kids that could play guitar. I think I was the only kid that could play guitar, so they'd throw me up there and say, "Why don't you play and do some music?" And I just loved that. Long before there was I had written any songs, I had any success, no one had ever heard my name or anything like that. That was the place where I was really loved and encouraged. And I'd play at my church, and I'd get calls at night from some of the older people in the church. "Chris, we really love that. That was so great." They would just call me at my house. I mean, that is such a beautiful, when I look back, it's like just beautiful, simple, small town people that really believed in me. And I think everybody needs somebody to believe in them. And that my story, I could go down a list of people who believed in me just at the right moment and said, "I see something in you." And so you don't have to have it all together. You don't have to come from anything great. You can come from a little small town, and you never know what God can do in your life.
We can give your number out, and people can we can keep this going. Get you a
Give me
couple-
calls at night.
We'll get you a couple calls.
Yeah.
I love the new album, Chris. It's 1 a.m.
Thanks,
Thanks
Jayar.
for the encouragement.
Yeah.
but I'm going back to bed. Tomorrow the album comes out from Chris Tomlin. You are from country roots.
Yep.
And you live in a country environment in the South.
I'm still in the South.
So you're around country stars and the like.
Even more so, yeah. no.
Right. And I know country music was, I'm either going to be a ball player or I'm going to be a country music star.
Yeah.
And every time we talk, I bring up your dream of one day getting to do a full-fledged country album. And you always laugh.
Yes. Just
And
like,
you say, but the label's never going to let me do it. So this is my Chris Tomlin once-a-year chat where I get an update on your dream. And how close are we?
How we coming? How we coming along?
Yeah.
We're getting further and further away from that dream. Yeah, I have been asked though recently, what if I could collaborate with somebody, and it always throws them off because people don't let me. They don't have the history like we have.
Yeah.
And I always say Garth Brooks, and they're just like, that's not what they were thinking.
Yeah.
They're
Lionel Harris. That's what I thought you were gonna say. Yeah.
And so they're thinking whatever, and whatever, is it going to be whoever? And so maybe one day there'll be a collaboration, but who knows?
Do you think Garth knows? I mean,
he doesn't know who I am. No,
he doesn't know you at all. He would have heard a song.
I don't know.
Like obviously Vince Gill would have.
Oh yeah, I know Vince, but I don't know Garth. But
Okay.
one day, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe
What
we'll
about
just.
Trisha Yearwood? Would she know you?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I haven't run into him.
Yeah. Let's go last one here, because we're short on time.
So if you know Garth out there,
Yeah.
if you're just driving and Garth's a good friend, give him a call.
You know Garth. 615. And tell me what you think of the new album when you call. You've been at this a long time now and have had great success. The Lord blessed you with these amazing songs, but do you ever get tired of not the busyness, but like I've been doing radio for 23 years. It's all I've ever known since I was a 17-year-old kid. It's the only job I've really ever had. And you've been doing this so long. Do you ever have moments of seeing people doing 9 to 5 or even just another sound check? Time to write an album, and the grind of writing an album. Does that get tiring?
That's funny. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I'm, at a restaurant or something with my wife, and I was like, I think I just want to be the waiter of this restaurant. I mean, there's no decisions riding on me. There's not people riding on me. There's not livelihoods riding on me. There's not all those things. I do feel that over. There are times where I'm like, gosh, just kind of want to be behind the scenes for a little bit. But, that quickly goes away because I am so grateful, and I'm so grateful but I take it as a great responsibility of what I do, because I don't think what I do is just like any other ordinary musician. I don't think this is like country music or pop music or hip hop or whatever. I think there's something different and there's something unique about songs of worship, because it's eternal, right? And it's your soul. There's nothing else like that in music where this is eternal. And I take a great responsibility for it. When I write songs, when I think about songs, I'm thinking about people. I'm thinking about how do I help the church worship God in this way? How do I get out of the way? How do I best serve people like that? And so I take it as a great responsibility, and I feel extremely blessed. I'm so grateful every day, every tour we get to do and get to be in front of people. I'm grateful, but yeah, there are times where it's a lot. You feel a lot riding on you, and you just kind of have to, realize that, God gave you this, and he helps you carry it. And so I just hope that I can carry it, and for many years to come, just like it's been all these years previous. And yeah, so grateful.
Well, and with a compliment that came through Matt Maher about you that wrecked my oldest daughter is a 15-year-old with an amazing voice, so she's being pushed through the ranks at one of the biggest churches in Florida, but she's being pushed through the ranks as lead vocalist of youth, and now they're asking her at 15 to be one of the leads on stage, and that's a proud dad moment that your kid's a worship leader with a talented voice. But I told her advice that came through Matt Maher from something you had said to him, and I passed it on to my daughter, is we think of these songs as songs, but they're actually small moments that you give people to pray. And I never thought about worship as miniature prayers that people are out there having with God. And you mentioned responsibility. You give them that window where God has blessed you with the opportunity to give these people a chance to have their own little prayers.
Yeah.
And that was very impactful to me because it means more than just we're out here singing.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
it's such a unique thing. This kind of music. It's unlike any other thing. It is, you connect people with the Spirit of God in a way that is so powerful, and and man, if pride comes in the way, pride just. So I'm always praying, God, I just need to humble myself, get me out of the way. I don't want pride to mess this up. I don't want my ego to get in the way. So I'm always trying to make a highway for people. Just make it a highway that is right to God.
All right. New album out tomorrow. Holy Roar. Chris Tomlin, thank you for the time, sir.
Thank you, Jayar.
The Thursday Afternoon Chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.